Hello and welcome to the Entrepreneur Success Formula podcast, where we get down to earth with real entrepreneurs. You know, the ones who work hard and know that success is more than a mindset, because it takes blood, guts, and a bucket full of luck to survive and thrive in the world of business today. My name is Damien Mark Smith, and I'm the host for today's show and author of the Entrepreneur Success Formula, How Thriving Business Owners Actually Do It. And in this episode, I'm speaking with Tom Green, who helps technically minded entrepreneurs go from 0 to 1 million or 1 million to 10 million without funding, using automated demand generation and commission only sales. So Tom, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Good to be here, and thanks for having me on.
Oh, my pleasure. And so you're based in Dubai, so it's nice and sunny where you are. It's very, very sort of dreary here in the UK. So I'm a little bit jealous. And just to warn everyone, we have a new puppy, Winnie, who is in her sleep time at the moment. So we planned it nicely. However, she might wake up. So you might be hearing some puppy noises in the background. And anyone watching on YouTube, you're going to get a view of her anyway. I'll stick it in the YouTube. So go to us on YouTube. If you're listening on iTunes, go to us on YouTube. We do the video version as well. So, right, Tom, let's get stuck in. So tell us a little bit more about growthhacker.io. So that's your website. So how did you start it? When did you start it? And how did you get your first customer?
Yeah, perfect. So it's a fairly new business. So I've been an entrepreneur since 22. So that's nearly 7 years ago now. And I ran a couple of B2C businesses in the sports industry out here in Dubai. And then when COVID hit, myself and my business partner decided that it was the right thing to do to wind it up, just because we had quite a lot of, I guess, fixed costs, that it was kind of, there was no horizon as to when they would end. So we decided to wrap that up, and I've been responsible for growth and marketing for that business for the last probably the last 5 or 6 years. That has been my main focus. So I thought, let me set this up, and this can be something that is basically a nice follow on from that, where I deliver value to businesses that want to scale.
Okay, so how does it work? Tell us a bit about how it works.
So there's two programs, or two, I guess, ways that I engage with clients. So one is like a done for you service, where it's a fully managed service for all aspects of growth. That's fairly bespoke. So it can be in relation to things like LinkedIn lead generation, or building out funnels, viral loops, all of that sort of thing, website design, application design. So I work with quite a variety of different people on that front. So that is the fully managed service. And then something that I'm just putting the Finstream touches on at the moment is like a growth program, which is, that's more of an information product, which has a portal, and people can get access for 12 months. I'm going to be hopefully launching that within hopefully the next month. I would say that'll be going live.
Okay, fantastic. We'll put some links to that in the show notes as well, because actually by the time this goes out, it'll probably be live. So that'll be very handy for you as well. What has been your biggest mistake, which has led to your biggest breakthrough in business?
Biggest mistake, I'd say probably that with the previous business that I was running, there was 1 year, probably about 3 years ago, when I guess we started to discover how to really scale things up with our marketing activities. And because our business was very service focused, it meant that we kind of flooded our ad budgets, and we weren't quite in a position to, I guess, fully deliver to the volume that we needed to. So it meant that we had to learn really fast how to build up a pretty complex operation, which I guess in the long run, it meant we had quite a difficult period for about 4 or 5 months. But in the long run, it meant that our systems ended up being a lot better, because we were marketing at a level that was an order of magnitude more than what most of the other providers were doing in the market. So
speaking of which, what has been your best marketing tactic and why?
So in terms of marketing, I think that I think that any time when you can offer a lot of value up front. I mean, I wouldn't say this is as much a tactic. I mean, it's quite a well-known thing, but in terms of just when you give value up front, I think people you generate some goodwill, especially if it's something that I think nowadays there's a lot of people who offer lead magnets as it's very kind of you can see straight through it and it's a little bit of a ploy. But if you actually deliver a lot of value up front to people and don't expect anything back, I think that does pay you back in spades in the long run. But as long as you do it in a way where it's you are focusing on delivering value to people, whether they continue with you or not, I think.
Love that. That's great. And just off the back of that, I'm gonna do a self plug because I've got a new funnel going up where I'm giving away my book, a PDF of my Entrepreneur Success Formula book for free. But of course, it's I do the podcast every single week now. So and we're doing real interviews with real entrepreneurs, and that's all part of the process. So I think it's that consistent sort of flow of giving value as well. It's just really important. What's been your worst marketing tactic?
I guess worst marketing tactic. I think I've tried a few different things. Like within the businesses that I was running previously, like I've tried quite a few things that didn't work out. To be honest with you, like I'm someone who generates quite a lot of ideas and comes up with quite a lot of products. And I think the main thing that I've learned from that is to try and validate your idea at a really low cost first and do the customer development process first before you get into marketing, because I have built out products and revenue streams that have fallen flat on their face before. So that's something that I've learned along the way, is that if you can just get out there and speak to your customers and even sell an MVP, even if it means that you haven't maybe got everything ready yet and you're going to be doing some of the stuff manually that you might want to automate later, or you're going to do something as a service that later might become a product, then that's a good idea. Because otherwise, if you build a full service and start marketing and you've not validated, I've done that a few times and wasted.
Oh yes, the non-validation. And for anyone who's new to the game, MVP is minimum viable product. I'm going to jump in with one there as well, because recently I've been split testing and I've realized my worst marketing tactic ever was not split testing. As soon as you do it, you go, oh, this is making a huge difference. I can see why people go on about it all the time. What has been your biggest mental challenge that you've had to overcome as an entrepreneur?
I think initially, I was pretty introverted, so I didn't find sales that easy. So that was something that I kind of had to get used to. I like the business that I'm doing now because it's like when I get into a sale, it isn't even really a sale. It's more like with my bespoke clients, especially, it's more of almost like I see myself like a doctor who's kind of like analyzing the different pieces of the business and seeing which areas need work and stuff like that. So I think that's an area that I've had to get used to. But then as well, just doing thousands of hours of cold calls is something that I've done and kind of got used to doing. But that was probably quite a challenge to begin with, I would say.
Nice. Okay, so because you're based in Dubai, I'm going to open this up to the world. So if you're in charge of world business right now, ooh, that's a tricky one. What legislation would you introduce to help entrepreneurs and business owners?
I think that one of the main challenges right now is the university system and stuff like that. I think that if that was made, I think that if there was kind of lower barriers to entry, which there could very easily be for people who maybe haven't got the funds to go to university, I think that with all the stuff that's available now on the internet, there could be much easier access channels for people to get the right information. And I think that, I mean, having been to university myself and done a business degree, like the stuff that you learn is not really that useful in entrepreneurship. So I think that would be the thing that, obviously entrepreneurship is the thing that I'm passionate about the most. So I think that would be the thing that I would probably focus on, because I think if you did that, it'd give a lot more people opportunity. And I think it will go that way, because I think more and more, especially with COVID and beyond, I think people are starting to realize that they can work for themselves and freelance and stuff like that. But if more people had the knowledge of how to do that, I think it would make things better as well.
And I think it's also opening, and I think it's a really important point, and that's why some really savvy entrepreneurs, as soon as they get into a new area, they just link up with their local university and do joint venture partnerships, and because that's where the next round of workforce is going to be coming from, and they're not going to be working in offices, they're going to be working remotely. And that's the interesting thing. That's going to lead us into our next question, actually. So this is a tricky one, but what do you think your own business or industry is going to look like in 50 years? I mean, you can actually do anything from 10 years, I think, because after that, it's going to be impossible to imagine.
Yeah, I think that with this industry that I'm in, but in most industries, I think it will get way more remote. I think that work will become, and it already is doing, like where before people would stay for the same company for their whole working life. It's kind of then gone to, oh, you should stay with the business for 5 years and now 2 years. And I think eventually it will be, I think that there's a lot more that can be done to, I think there's a lot more that can be done to make the marketplace more open, whether it be, I think like the Upwork kind of scenario, I think that could end up happening in a lot of different industries where, and websites like Upwork and Fiverr become the commonplace, and where I guess, because it's all about, I guess, just making sure that people have the skill sets to do the jobs. And I think that there's a lot of industries that are yet to be kind of turned into a marketplace, like Airbnb have done and Uber have done, and things like that. So I think that's probably what's coming.
Fantastic. I like that. It's good. Good answer, that one. What is your favorite business book and why?
I'd have to say two, probably. I've got them here. So I'll bring this one. So Zero to One is probably the one that I would say is the book that has had the most influence. So that one's by Peter Thiel. So it mainly talks about how to build a valuable business and make sure that you're creating a business that is unique and generates profit margins. And he's got quite a lot of like contrarian ideas. So he thinks that monopolies are good, which is quite controversial. But I think that in some cases, in some instances and some parts of it, he's kind of right with that. Like companies are able to innovate a lot better if they're a monopoly, and companies like Google and stuff like that. Obviously, there are limits to that, and ways it can go a bit too far. But yeah, that's the book I would recommend, I think.
And what's the other one?
The other one, Start With Why. So that one's by
Simon.
Yeah, exactly. So I read that one quite a while ago. What I've done with that as well, my program is based quite heavily around that book. So I think that those, like the 3 concentric circles, is very good from like a conceptual point of view. And I've tried to build that out into 7 circles that give more of a, I guess, a little bit more actionable advice on how you can make a business. It kind of like combines a bit of Zero to One and Start With Why to make that concept from like a business strategy point of view. So
nice.
yeah,
I like that. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, and are you a night owl or an early bird? And what's your morning or evening routine?
Before I was doing this business, I'd say definitely I was more of an early bird, but at the moment, quite a lot of my clients are in the US. So that's meaning that with the time zone, which is about, depends where they are, but it can be between 7 and 9 hours, I think it is. So that means that sometimes if I don't open my diary until 7 or 8 o'clock, it means that opportunities can be missed. So that's something that I need to figure out, because it's not great that at the moment I'm probably working too late.
And if they made a movie about you and your business, who would play the starring role?
Oh gosh, I'm not sure about that. I don't know. I guess Tom Hardy would be my favorite actor.
There
but
we
go. Yeah. Yeah.
And what is your favorite movie, business or otherwise? We've now got a comprehensive list of business movies. I don't think we can add any more to that. But what is your favorite movie and why?
I think the Big Short is probably my favorite. I think that's pretty funny, and also like a pretty good insight into how into what happened in 2008 with the housing crisis. So yeah, I think the Big Short would be probably up there.
Cool. And finally, what are your plans for expansion or indeed exit?
So yeah, it'll be more on the expansion lines first. I think that I really like the stuff that I'm doing at the moment, which is bespoke and for each client. But I think that the information product that I've made is, once it's polished and once the processes are there, that's probably the more scalable aspect. So I'd say scaling that is probably my main priority at the moment.
Fantastic. And if our listeners want to get in touch with you, please tell us how we can do that.
So LinkedIn or through my website, or tom@growthhacker.io, and there is a dash between the growth and the hacker as well.
Okay, and finally, we have a special guest appearing on the show. Hold on one second. I'm just going to go and bring her over. Come here, Winnie. Oh. We've got some gratuitous puppiness going on in the show. It means you're going to have to go and check us out on YouTube now. Oh, hello, my darling. Did you have a nice sleep? Mm-hmm. She's very cute, isn't she?
Yeah, really cute. Which breed?
She's a Labrador. She's a fox red Labrador.
Yeah, she's really cute. How old?
She's 9 weeks old. So anyone listening on the podcast now is going, which YouTube channel? Which YouTube channel? It's in the link. Oh, lovely kisses. Yes. Brilliant. Fantastic. Right, pop you back over there. We've obviously had to section off the whole office area. So, because there's too many cables otherwise. There you go. Thank you very much, Tom, for taking this brief delve into the real lives of real entrepreneurs, you know, the ones with puppies. Can I ask that you share this podcast and the video with anyone who works hard, and also listeners and viewers like us on iTunes and YouTube, as we're going out on both, and hit the subscribe button. So you're going to get your regular weekly delve into entrepreneurship. And if you'd like to take part in the show, simply drop me an email at Damien with an A at rethinkingbusiness.biz, and we can have a chat. Tom, here's to your future success. Thank you so much for taking part in the show, and see you soon.
Thanks.